Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks, here to bring you your weekly Pokemon market update. Let's jump into the data and see where things are. There's a couple of anomalies this week. I'll point them out as we go. And I want to show you something on the website as well. So let's jump in. Let's see what we see. It's a pretty quiet week overall. Darkness Ablaze is up 5.5% to 147. Not a huge jump from the 139 it's been at before, and 2 months ago it was at the same price. So really it's not a huge deal. It's just kind of trending between a top and a bottom. You know, we see this all the time. I see nothing special there. I know I was watching that and I called it out a few weeks ago. I have no anticipation of this not returning lower. There's nothing that indicates it's going to moon or anything like that. So I think it's just a normal variation within the market. Evolving Skies booster box 359 from 334. That's up 7.62%. This is a high. This one may may be going to the moon. Obviously, we don't know for sure, and there can always be a drawback or a pullback. But Evolving Skies is one of those that has outperformed the market quite a bit, and we are getting very close to this stage where distributors will know how much they're getting on reprints, and they'll start allocating to shops. So there's got to be some information starting to come through. So perhaps the news is that Evolving Skies has not been reprinted, or it's a small reprint. We don't know. I don't anticipate them printing enough to have a massive market hit. Like even if they printed a ton of it, think about it, right? Say they printed just a ridiculous amount of it and it hit the market all at once, which would be the worst possible case for prices. Everyone knows that Evolving Skies has outperformed, so no one's going to dump the price, right? The price has to be set by a TCG, a freaking LGS, and for it to drop down, right? Distribution doesn't sell through TCG Player, right? So that means an LGS, a local game store owner, is going to get this product probably at an elevated price, because I think distribution will sell it at an elevated price considering the market price. I could be wrong on that. If there's rules about that, let me know. But as far as I know, there aren't. So they'll get it at a good price, but not like a crazy, standard distribution print price, because it's a older product, not hugely old, but older product. So they'll sell it at a markup. The LGS will want to sell it at a markup, and everyone in the supply chain knows that this has been a high demand product. So I imagine that distribution will hold back a bunch. So there will be less that actually goes out to LGSs. So it will feel like they're not getting enough, and therefore the prices are likely to go back up. So even if they print a ton and it does drop the market price down, I really don't see it going below 200. I'm not sure exactly where it would land, but I don't see it going below 200. And frankly, I'm not even sure it will hit 200 just because of the rabid demand for this particular product. So just something to keep in mind. That ship may have sailed is what it boils down to. It just may be done. I hope you got your boxes while you could. And if I'm wrong and we get a nice big dip, I'm not sure if it's a good time to buy in or not. It really depends on how far the dip is and how much supply we get. Oops, I just noticed this is incorrect. We had a few of these that had BS prices. So anyways, that one, Fusion Strike, is not anything of note. Sword and Shield, the base set is at 297. It's up 4.5%. Honorable mention. Moving on to cases, Evolving Skies case is 2,189. Now this is where the shenanigans was. So last week we recorded 1,000, and I had it right here, and I even marked it as blue, and we talked about it, how it was a problem because we weren't sure if it was real. And I took a screen cap of the sales in that range, right? We had 550s and 1,000s. This is TCG sale record. And I told you, these disappear when the sale, the transaction gets canceled, refunded, etc. Anything goes wrong, these all disappear. Well, guess what happened? Let's go. You can see someone's trying to sell it again at 1,000. And I checked this yesterday night at like 9:30. It was not here. So I'm actually a little worried that people are listening to this, putting these up here so that I pull the data. I don't think I'm that popular, but it's just weird that it wasn't there yesterday and it is today, right when I do my market data pool. So I'm going to be a little more diligent, careful on these things. Note, one did sell at that $1,000 price point. This will almost certainly be returned. When I checked this yesterday, though, that wasn't there, and all these were. So you can see that those ones we listed, look at the dates, right? 23, 21, all that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's nothing past the 23rd. Yeah, there's one at 2,000 on the 30th. And then you go here. These were all on the 30th and 29th, and they're all gone. They're just gone because they all failed. Basically, they were scams. So when we talked about it, and I'll bring up this picture. I'll move this. I'll make this bigger so you can see it. When we talked about it, these were the sellers. It's kind of bad quality, but you can read it. Vulcan Hobbies and MTG Sailor were selling it for that $1,000 price. They had a bunch in stock, and they even had sales. Remember, we went through the sales. They had 0% history. They didn't have negative comments. I looked at their comments. The comments were all like, oh, this was great. It was fast delivered, blah, blah, blah. So it looked somewhat legitimate. It looked like if I were to sell, because I don't have like a direct seller rating or any of that stuff either, right? So when I sell, this is what I look like. I have a bunch of sales. I have a decent rating. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, because it's your 90-day window. Sometimes I don't sell every quarter, so I don't really have ratings. And I'm 100% legit, and I do everything by the book, proper packaging, etc., as you guys know. But when you look at this looks like someone like me, but then you look at the actual sales history. So these were all those sales. These ones right here, it's about a dozen of them. But you look at the sales history, all gone. Means every single one of those was returned, unhappy customer. So keep an eye out. Don't buy from Vulcan Hobbies or MTG Sailor. Not to disparage anyone, but clearly they did not end up being a good seller. And we have two more. Let Us Play and Fields of Wares. Again, at your own risk. I'm not saying that they're illegitimate. They may be someone like me. That's how I look when I sell. Just be aware. I'm just warning. Be aware, because it is a risky time. The hype is real. And scams happen when people sell into the hype. And if you're Vulcan Hobbies or MTG Sailor and you'd like to explain what happened, feel free to reach out. I will share your story too, because I know as a seller myself, things can go wrong that aren't related. But that price was too good to be true, and it turned out it was too good to be true. So I suspect it was some sort of problem there. Moving on. Lost Origin is down 4%, just barely making the cut for honorable mention. 814 from 849. Nothing really special here. We've seen this slow slide since 900. We called this out as a crazy price for this product. It did jump up really fast. From 677 2 weeks later, it was 900. That was way too fast, right? And it's slowly descending. It's only down not even $100 from that high over a month. So you can see 2 weeks up, 4 weeks down. I don't see it retracing to 677, but 700s, I could see that, and we'll see what happens as we move forward. Silver Tempest is up 4.18% to 769 from 739. It's nice. It's up. Yeah, nothing crazy there. That's a slow tick up. That actually feels more natural than most of the stuff. It is the latest box. I will say that's a pretty high price for the latest box, but I think that's what everyone's starting to get used to. As you can see, 772 is down 9% on Scarlet and Violet Box 1. I think this is kind of the range we're going to see. Maybe between, call it 650 to 750 range for a new product. With the new MSRP, that's just what it looks like the world is, right? So no more deals at 500. I think the deals are at the 600 range. That's where you look at and say, hey, this is a good deal for a booster box case. That's what I'm looking at. So this is pre-sale prices, so don't take any of this seriously. We need to wait until post-release to get real data where real markets are really liquid and real sales are happening and real boxes are being delivered. Until then, some of it's hype, some of it's scam, some of it's, I don't know, all sorts of things, right? It's pre-release hype. So just let it be what it is until we get to that point. I won't do a chart on this until we get there, but I will use this backlog of data so we'll have an idea of what the pre-release data looks like going into a release, post-release, exit, hopefully this new era will provide us some insights as to how the rest of the Scarlet and Violet era will go. But we'll have to look at the data. Let's jump into the charts real quick. Sword and Shield, nothing much here, up and to the right as we expect. Almost $300 a box. Do keep that in mind. It is climbing, and that product's got to be disappearing. We haven't had cases since I've been reporting, so there can't be that many boxes left over after that. Moving on to Rebel Clash. We have a nice premium in place. Nothing really special here, just floating sideways. I know this is a less popular one, but we've stuck in this 200 range pretty nicely. Came up from the 180. Hit 239, drop below. This is what I often talk about, this reversion to the mean, right? Drop below, but still above the 180, and then it settles in that mid-range. Sometimes it tests the floor, and the floor was actually higher than the previous low. So it's a general upward trend with a flat line at this called 215, 220 range. It just kind of floats there, and sometimes it'll test the lows, sometimes it'll test the highs. This is range bound. That's what we're looking at. And this is set solid. We see this. We'll see volatility kick up right when the supply runs out. And then what will happen is we'll get a giant spike up, a reversion to the mean, and then a settle in the middle. So this is a classic pattern that I talk about and look for in a post spike. When I see a spike, I'm like, oh, it'll probably dip. But if it goes above where it was previous low, then we're looking at a mid range for where it will settle. It's one of the things you can look at to try to, kind of get an idea of what price action is going to look like. All right, Sword and Shield 3 is Darkness Ablaze. We're just talking about this. Booster boxes are now above. There's this minor ARB opportunity. It's pennies, so don't even worry about it. But the point being that the boxes have push up in demand, probably because it's an older set, just like I was looking at it, and it was a lower price than a lot of things. So I get that. The cases are now a bit of a discount. This might be the time to buy a case if you're looking to do that. At a $146 a box if you buy a case, and then the box prices are $147. So while you can't ARB right now, you're going to get a decent discount while that box price continues to rise. And then if you keep the case sealed, the case price tends to follow behind, right? You can see that here. Price of the boxes kept climbing. So imagine this spot is like this spot, right? So it jumped up, it went just above, not much, not worth really ARBing. So you buy the case right here, and then the box prices continue to climb and steady in a new high, right? And then slowly the cases follow. And then, so now you get this premium on the cases, which is $16 per box, or the whole case, times 6. So, I mean, that's some margin. I don't know that I would sell at that point, but you get the idea. Like, if you buy the case when the box prices start showing this volatility, you tend to get a case that pops up too. And then worst case scenario, say it doesn't pop up, you can cut the case open and sell the per boxes at a premium. So it's it's one way to look at the market. It's what I like to do and look at. I move through Pokemon product relatively quick. I cycle it quickly, so that's how I look at it. Anyways, Vivid Voltage. Premium intact. You can see this was a wild mess for a while. We'll see what happens here. I imagine these box prices will go up if the case prices hold. It's 2 weeks up here in a row. It could dip back down. I would not be surprised, especially if the box prices don't rise. But this stuff can take like a month to play out. It was chaos here, though. This is just madness, and I'm not entirely sure what that's about. Leave a comment if you know why Vivid Voltage had such volatility around the cases and boxes. Maybe it was a supply chain issue thing. All right, moving on to Battle Styles, also not a very popular one. I think Rebel Clash was the first, bad one or not great one. Battle Styles is definitely the second not great one. It was 80 for the longest time. I bought a bunch in the 80 range, or 85. I bought a bunch in the 85 range. Happy to see that it's now 107. I expect this to slowly rise over time, especially as we get into the new era. It is it's the 5th product in the series, so it's old. It deserves some price peaks. Chilling Rain, pretty flat, pretty consistent with the case versus box. This just feels like market business, market hype, older set. I believe people were saying Chilling Rain had some good stuff in it. Not as good as some of the other ones, but I think Chilling Rain had a few hits in it that people were really looking into for the competitive and the video game. I'm not sure what it's called. Was it Pokemon Online or something? The newer one, the one Tommy plays. Let me know in the comments. Moving on to Evolving Skies, the madness that it is. So charts have been corrected. Note, these are different than what our previous one was because of the the change in the price from last week from 1,000 to 1924, it shifts the way the thing looks. So basically disregard last week's conversation about the chart because it's a different chart now. I will try to catch those in the future so we don't have that weird situation. I do appreciate the feedback on that though, because it is, it is one of those things. Someone called it out a few days later, like the sales are gone. And it's like, yeah, it was, they got returned. That's what we were looking for. So anyways, looking good. Volatile to the upside. It'll be a while before this fully settles out. I think we'll see some sort of crazy spike and then a closure or a big dip if we get word that there's a big release, something like this, right? Where we'll dip down and then it may come back up even higher or revert to a mean in the middle. Depends on how much that supply is. We'll find that out pretty soon though, next month. Moving on to Fusion Strike, nice and steady. Cases went nuts for some reason. I don't think there's ever an answer as to why that happened. Maybe it was just hype. Nothing too crazy there. Brilliant Stars. This is another one with a lot of chaos. The premium was really high. We had these little ARB opportunities. These are one of those things where, okay, this goes high, this is low. You buy here. Now you're making, $4 a case. It's not a big buy situation, but then you're stuck with these boxes. So this is where it goes wrong, right? You do what I described earlier. Your case goes up a few bucks, but you're not going to sell that. That's like your tax and shipping fee difference. It's you basically are break even if it goes up $5. But the boxes, you can't even crack it open and sell the boxes because now they're way low. So I think what happened was some people thought the pattern I described was going to happen, bought a bunch of cases, and then dumped the boxes and the market dropped. It could be that, could just be, general market volatility. Astral Radiance. Just nice and steady, premium intact. We had a long time ARB opportunity. It wasn't big, so it wasn't really worth taking for the ARB itself. But again, you buy at any point down here. You can always sell the boxes individually if you want to, or you hold the case, and then the case rises and the box rises, and case rises and the box rises. So this is kind of what I hope happens with that other set, so that we can get to a point where you buy the case and then it rises, might dip back down, you hold it, it keeps going up, and you just have these like lumpy jumps up. That is the preference. Moving on to Lost Origins. This one went out of control. Tommy says it has the heat in it. Looks like it's cooling off and becoming an ARB opportunity, but it's only a couple bucks. As we said before, this might be a good opportunity. I will caution you that Lost Origins is a recent set and seems very likely to get reprint. So this one could crash way harder. Like Evolving Skies is older, and I know it was probably targeted for a reprint, so we'll probably get some of that. I mean, maybe not though. But Lost Origins, if we don't get a reprint of that, that would be kind of crazy. It's so recent. So this one is almost certainly going to see a dip on the reprint. And then the final one, Silver Tempest, holding up, nice and steady, recent set. Really nothing to look at here until it gets to a settled point. It is kind of crazy that it's up in the 120s already, but I think that's just adjustment for the new MSRP. If you like this content, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know, what I can do better, other things to look out for. Do you think those are scams? When the sales disappear, obviously it was too good to be true. So be careful out there. Definitely use things like PayPal. They protect their customers. TCG Player protects their customers. If you go to a third party, make sure you're using a credit card like an Amex, because they are very good at advocating for customers when things go wrong. If you make sure you document everything, that's how you avoid that type of stuff. Me and Tommy have both bought stuff that was too good to be true just to see if we could get it at that price. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but we've always ended up getting our money back. So if you take proper precautions, you can avoid any major issues with it. So anyways, until next time, I hope you guys are out there cracking packs, collecting these Pokemon cards that you like. What do you think about the sleeper Pikachu Tommy was talking about in the podcast? Let me know. Is that a sleeper hit? Should I buy some? He's gonna buy a bunch. Should I buy some? I don't know. It's only like $4 or $5, so might be worth grabbing. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, and until next time, have a good one.